What's up everybody, AJ from Knights of the Apex here, coming to you on launch day of the new primes. I have the RVX 32 and 34 here with me. These are my personal bows. I've had these bows for the last couple of months and have been hunting with this 32 specifically. This has been my hunting rig. The 34 I've got set up for more of like a Western tack style setup, and I'll go over the accessories and how I kind of laid these out more in a minute. Before we get into the bows, you guys, if you follow along on Instagram, whether you follow Knights of the Apex or Prime, you've probably seen I am a Prime Pro, thick quotation marks there. I can't speak to the other pros, but for me personally, my relationship with Prime is I provide them photo and video assets for some of their marketing, things like these bow launches, right? So that's my relationship with them. As for this video, no one's giving me any talking points. I don't even think Prime knows I have a YouTube channel, nor do I think they care. There is no sort of expectation or anything there, but it's something that I want to lay out for you guys because I think it's important that you guys know when you're watching these videos and potentially making a decision on where to spend your hard-earned money, that you know where the people that are making those videos are coming from. So for me, I've been shooting primes for the last couple months, been a fan of the company and their bows for years, and now I've had 3 primes and I've been really impressed with all of them. This RVX 32, I've got thousands of arrows through it. I've been really impressed with how well it's maintained. Honestly, I didn't realize how much tuning and retuning I was having to do on some of the older bows that I owned until I moved over to Prime, and just the lack of upkeep that this bow has needed has just been really nice. You know, I love tinkering. You guys probably know, like, I love messing around, trying new stuff, tuning, retuning, but maybe because I'm getting older, maybe because I'm a dad now and I want to spend more time just shooting, hunting if I'm not spending it with my family. So it's been really nice to have a setup that I can truly just set up and forget. I did have to reserve my center serving, which is pretty much par for the course with any bow after a couple thousand arrows, and I do have a little D-loop in there just as a peep tuner. I will say that I haven't noticed any string stretch. I ordered both of these bows in 80 pounds, 28.5 inch draw lengths, and they've been super smooth. They've held their holding weights. I haven't noticed any sort of string stretch or cable stretch at all. So I said in my RVX 34 review that that bow was 70 pounds. I wished I got it in 80 because of how smooth these cams are, and that core cam system does carry over to the 2024 bows. So that's why I went with the 80. And I've been super happy with it. Extremely smooth, same geometry and feel as years prior, maybe a hair smoother, and I'll talk about that more in a minute, because the big thing that Prime was honestly probably lagging a bit behind the rest of the pack the last couple of years has been in the noise and vibration department. They were just a little bit behind some of the other flagships, but that has been drastically improved for this year, and it's something that quite frankly took me a little off guard, because looking at this year's bows compared to last year's bows, they look very similar, but the little tweaks that they made had a drastic impact on how this bow, the noise impulse and the vibration impulse of this bow after you actually shoot it, and some of that has to do with some of the new geometry, some of the cutouts on the riser itself, some of the how it is, the riser's designed around the the limb pockets is a little different for this year. The cable guide is angled, which has a little bit to do with that, but it also gives you more clearance for your arrow rest if whether you're running the QAD style integrate, which you can run this year. They did add an integrate rail, or the Hamskis. I'm running the Prime Epsilon edition one for the primes, but the other seemingly small but major impact to performance is the cable. The string stop rod was actually redesigned. The carbon fiber weave, you'll notice, is actually different for this year than years previously, and in talking with Prime, that's one of the things that actually aided in cutting down some of that noise and vibration. So a lot of little things that definitely add up, you know, as far as like how this bow feels to shoot. If you like the RVXs last year, they're going to feel virtually identical. With the cam system this year, the core cam system carries over, the inline cable system carries over, but you do receive mods with your bows that allow you to fine tune the let off, and with it the draw length slightly. So I know that's going to be a big detractor for some people that like to trade in or sell their bows every year. This bow does not have a rotating mod that's going to give you that like 25 to 31 inch draw length adjustments. So what you order is what you get, with some exception being what you can fine tune with the let off mods that you get. Me personally, these bows felt so good. Again, 80 pounds, 80% let off. I left these stock mods on there. I haven't even played with the let offs at all, just because these bows have felt so good, and they tuned up really easy. Same spacer system as the previous years. I found that really easy to work with. These bows went together really nicely, and as you would expect with the new pick accessories and the new integrated accessories, these things balance out even better than they did in years past. And prime bows were already known for how forgiving and how well balanced they were. So you'll see me running more stabilizer than most people. That's just, I mean, what I've kind of come to be used to. Right now I am running a smaller stabilizer setup because I'm getting ready for a hunt. I'm going to be ground blind hunting up in New York, doing some suburban hunting on Long Island with my dad. So I did swap out to a smaller stabilizer setup. I'm running just an 8-inch Velago and a little stack of weights on my back bar. But if you guys follow on Instagram, you'll see this particular bow in several different accessory iterations. This was the first of the new primes I received, so I was waiting for some accessories to come in. But this has been my my hunting rig for the year so far. It's been an up and down year. These Florida swamp bucks have certainly given me a run for my money. The advantage to that is this bow has seen a lot of time in the stand and the saddle and the woods. But I think that about does it for the 32. I am running the tight spot quiver, and I'm running identical setups as far as accessories go on both these bows, with the obvious exception being the stabilizer lengths. But I am running the new G5 Mark 203 arrows. I've really been impressed with these arrows, as well as the broadheads. I figured, you know, first year with prime, it's been a long time since I shot prime broadheads, just because got friends with other companies and is kind of doing rotations. But I've got the Dead Meats, Mega Meats, and the Montex in my quiver for both bows, and all three of those heads have been hitting behind my pin along with my field points. So these bows tuned up really easy, were very easy to set up, and I've really enjoyed shooting them. I had a couple people reach out to me saying that in bows of years past, they had some issues running their limb-driven rests off of the little string tie-in that Prime provides. I have not noticed that with any of the three bows that I've had from Prime, so I don't know if that's perhaps a rest-specific thing or a setup-specific thing, but again, I just have not noticed that. So all in all, really love this setup. Super impressed with this bow. And then going over to the 34, a couple little tweaks that I made to this, running obviously a longer stabilizer setup. Again, these bows don't need stabilizers this long. I mean, the center grip and just the balance of these bows is phenomenal. These bows hold extremely well, and they're super comfortable at full draw, even at 80 pounds. But I think it kind of looks cool. I've got a 15-inch bar on the front and 10-inch on the back. These are Quattro Velagos as well. These are the KOTA limited edition Blackbeard series. Just really like how this bow balances out. And I did put a 2x lens on my dialed Arxos for this particular setup. Again, I've got this set up more for like a Western tack style setup. This was something that some of the old guys from Nodens kind of were messing around with, so I figured I'd give it a try as well. It's been really fun to shoot, especially at longer distances. But all in all, the 34, I will say, definitely holds and is more forgiving than the 32. Not like drastically, but I do notice that I can be a little lazier with the 34 and still hit behind my pin versus the 32. And that just is kind of true for every manufacturer across the board, right? It's just slightly more comfortable string angle, a little bit more forgiveness. I do notice more vibration in the 34 than the 32. I think that probably has a lot to do with just my accessory choices on on here, right? There's longer stabilizers. There's just more real estate for that vibration to travel down before it terminates, right? So I anticipate that's probably all that is. The other obvious change to the bow this year is the reintroduction of Prime's G-Fade camo pattern. They offer it in the King's XK7 camo, which is what I have here, and also the Sitka Subalpine with a green riser. I think this looks really freaking cool. So much so that I ordered some King's camo just because I kind of wanted to hunt with this and match the bow. I know that's stupid. I was interested to see how this NASA inspired grip held up in colder weather, and I can say without a doubt it definitely maintains warmth better than if you were to just touch the riser. Even in like 40 degrees, you'll start to notice that this grip is noticeably warmer than the riser. I don't know if it's quite as warm as, like, say some of the carbon bows are, but it's very close. So for those of you that you know, you prefer an aluminum bow but you wish it had that warm to the touch feel of a carbon bow, Prime has nailed that for you guys. So I'm one of those guys. I don't think you guys have ever seen me with a carbon bow. I just like a heavier bow, obviously. I don't have nearly as many arrows through this bow as I do the 32, but it's held up really well. Again, like the Prime strings have just seemed to be the most consistent strings of any of the OEM manufacturers I've seen thus far. The strings, bow to bow, they're not over waxed. They're very consistent. They seem to be the same thread count and everything. So I've just been very, very impressed with Prime's strings. And that just kind of goes for Prime bows in general. The thing that really strikes me the most is they're good, solid bows. Yes, they didn't introduce a lot of new bells and whistles this year, but Prime, I mean, they just outwardly said it in their teaser for their bows this year. They've just always been about doing their own things and bringing solutions to the table. And I think the big solution that Prime brings in general is you get an accurate, reliable, easy to shoot bow that doesn't require a ton of maintenance and upkeep and things that you got to worry about. Something that I've noticed, you know, most of the guys that shoot Primes end up sticking with them and end up sticking with the same bow for several years. And I think I talked about this in my RevX video, but I now understand why. Like, these bows, you know, talking about every manufacturer, they don't change that much year over year. Every couple of years you get like a leap forward. I'd say definitely when they moved to this core cam system, they did. And this year with the vibration reduction and noise reduction that they did, I think they're going to win over a lot of people that maybe were on the fence before, because this is just such a forgiving bow. But beyond that, it's also just a bulletproof setup. You can set it, forget it, just shoot it, go hunt with it, and just enjoy shooting and hunting and not have to worry about maintaining things or having additional strings or cables or timing or any of that. So you know, I work for Bloodline Fibers, so typically in the past you've seen me swap out the stock strings right away, and I've been lazier with that just because the stock strings haven't given me the headaches that I normally faced with other manufacturers' bows in the past. These bows have been in production for the last couple of months, so they should be at your dealers now. If not, they'll be arriving shortly, so definitely go check them out. Give all the new bows a shot and test them. You know, all of the bows coming out, especially at the flagship level from the major manufacturers, they're all very, very impressive. I've been super excited about some of the innovations that I've seen from numerous manufacturers this year. I think it's a really good thing because it moves the entire industry forward. So it's an exciting thing to see. It's a great time to be a bow hunter. Ultimately, you know, even the worst flagship bow these days is leaps and bounds better than what our dads were shooting when they were bow hunting and out slaying us a couple of years ago. So just keep that in mind when you know, you're watching YouTube videos and people are bitching and moaning about things. And always appreciate you guys tuning in and all of the success that you guys share with me on Instagram and social. I can't tell you guys how much it means to me when I'm having a rough day in the woods, getting your guys' success pictures and getting tagged and things like that. It really does mean the world. So I appreciate all of you guys, and I will catch you in the next video. See ya.